So, becoming a monk, was there a single turning point in your life, or was it like a gradual change?
It's a question that's often asked. And I think generally in societies and cultures, people are conditioned to look for the point. What was the point? There was had to be one thing, and it wasn't really one thing. If I had to point to a turning, to a significant experience that moved me in this direction, it was when I stopped taking intoxicants and stayed stopped. This gave me another relation with the world, and as that process kept unfolding, and it led me here.
Can you explain spirituality in your own words?
Yes.
How?
Spirituality is really expressed in the ways in which we live our life. It's not what we think. It's not what we perceive. It's not what we say, but what we do. It shows itself in our interactions with other people. It shows itself in our interactions with the world which we're a part of. It shows itself in the interactions with the houses which support us, with the machines that support us, how we treat them, how we care for them. I experience spirituality in that way. It's nothing outside of daily living.
So when you do a praxis like meditation, so why do you do that then still?
Well, my daily life is meditation. Everything I do. And that's defined by the attention that I place into what it is that I'm doing. Yes, I have some specific disciplines relative to this tradition. I find those disciplines to be quite important. The structure, it's quite important to help me to see what distracts me from being really present with all that I'm doing. And so I also understand spiritual practice as this. It's the set of disciplines and structures that bring me in contact with what prevents me from being present with what I'm doing.
So when you, for example, do a sitting meditation, it prepares you for normal day living.
Well, I don't know if it doesn't prepare me for a normal day. It's part of my normal day. So I don't see it as something separate from or apart from. It's an integrated aspect of what I do, because of course everything I do, I look at everything I do as an act of meditation. Meditation doesn't start and end on the cushion. If people believe this, then they don't understand the truth of meditation. So, because when I get up off the cushion, my meditation continues. It just changes form.
But it is necessary to also do the sitting on the cushion.
Yes, I think so. It is for me. You know, I often say that we can't do whatever we want and call that spiritual practice. We can't. And we can. People do it all the time, but that doesn't make it true. It doesn't make it so. The discipline structure is important to the process.
So there are rituals you follow in a normal daily life.
Yes.
That support that.
I do. Yeah, I have, for example, in my commitments to become a monk, I take certain vows and commitments. And, I don't hold to them I don't hold to them rigidly, because that's not the point of them. I look at these vows and commitments as teachings, guidelines that will support me in my daily living. So, yeah, they are important to me.
So how does, if you have not a retreat, how does the day look?
No one day ever looks the same. I do start off sitting, but as I travel a lot, so if I'm on an airplane, I do my sitting. The form changes. I'm in the airplane seat. There are people all around me. When I'm at the center, I have an altar in my room and I do my things there. If there's a formal retreat, then it changes from my room into the meditation hall. So the truth of life is not, it's never familiar or predictable. It's only familiar and predictable in its unpredictability. So how to stay true to the commitments that I make, while at the same time not being rigid with them. This for me also is an expression of spirituality.
Brings me to a question I had, and is how do you know that you are on the path and not running behind some ideas?
I don't even question that. I think life and my engagement with the world around me, it shows me whether I'm on the path or not. And I don't really know. I mean, there isn't like a path. You know, the path is as wide as the Sahara Desert, and it's also as small as a keyhole, and it's not fixed. There's no certain path. Too many people get frustrated and lost and confused and hurt because they're trying to structure their life to conform to an idea. This is the path. The path shows itself, and it's constantly changing. I mean, look at the river. And the river doesn't just go in a straight line, unless, of course, people go in there and change it. See? So this is how intellect works. With my intellect, I can shape the world. Like I can go in with the machines and take out all of the curves in the river. But the curves are there for a reason. And so I just make an effort to be present for life as it shows itself to me. And then these rituals and disciplines help me to stay steady within the twists and turns that life reveals to me.
One could say this gives even if there is a lot of freedom, like in the river still has his path where he goes. So rituals can give you a guideline, like in
the rituals, the disciplines, and the rituals are part of the overall discipline, and that's what supports me as life presents itself to me. Life itself is unpredictable. I'm not looking to contain or control life. When I was doing that, there was a time in my life when I was doing that because that's all that I knew. That was what was modeled for me in society and culture and my family. And my life was terrible. My life didn't make any sense at all. I'm not saying that it makes a great deal of sense now, but more than then. Yeah.
So through the suffering is also where changes happen.
Again, please.
So through suffering, because we suffer, we start to change ourselves.
I won't say we suffer. I would say there is suffering. Our relationship to this suffering determines whether we suffer or not. But suffering is a part of our reality. Our relation with that suffering determines our relationship with that suffering.
So, could you tell us like 3 things that you think are important in life and what people should work on?
3 things that are important in
life, yes, like for normal living, for a person that lives.
Here's what I said. When people ask me, they say, so people come to sit meditation with me, to learn meditation. I think most people have a lot of ideas when they come, and then there's the experience. And sometimes experience matches their ideas, and sometimes they're very confused. Sometimes they're very angry. But I do what I do. So people say, okay, so after the retreat, how do I continue? What's important? What I say to them is, so the first thing you do when you get up is you make your bed as if you never slept in it. You show real respect for the support that the bed's given. And I'm always thankful for when I have a bed to sleep in, I'm always thankful for it. And I show that respect, which is also spiritual practice, recognizing the interconnectedness between myself and the bed and the blankets and all of these things. So I say, you make your bed like you never slept in it, then you sit 5 minutes. You just set your timer and sit 5 minutes, not more, not less. No matter if you're comfortable or not comfortable, you sit 5 minutes. And then you do that every day for 30 days. But you also then sit at night for 5 minutes. I also encourage people to not take intoxicants. No alcohol, no illegal drugs, and to be very cautious about medicaments. Because I see that the world, the people that I encounter as I move through the world, society and culture somehow now conditions us to not want to feel anything that they consider uncomfortable. People don't want to be sad. They don't want to be anxious. They don't want to feel. They don't want to feel fear. They don't want to feel any anxiety. They don't want to feel what they consider. They don't want to have feelings they consider that make them uncomfortable, so that they want to get rid of them. So this is a role then that medicaments often play.
So instead, what could one do when there is a lot of emotion?
To learn to live with these emotions. And this is it's not an easy or simple task. It really does take time. And a desire. You have to have a desire. If you don't have a desire to live differently, it doesn't matter. Nothing will help. Even the medicaments will stop working after a time.
And in these 5 minutes, sitting meditation, what should one do? Is there a concentration on something?
Concentrate on your breath. Actually, though, what I say that to people, I say you need to concentrate on your breath. You breathe in through your nose. This is the way I'm taught. So this is what I pass to other people. You breathe in through your nose and you breathe into your abdomen. You'll know you're breathing into your abdomen because your stomach will expand. Now, when you breathe in, though, you don't follow the breath into the body. You just pay attention to the precise point where the breath enters the body. And then when you breathe out through your mouth. But again, you don't follow the breath out of your body. You just pay attention to the precise point where it leaves the body. There's nothing to be accomplished, nothing to be gained. You will notice, though, that the point of concentrating on the breath is to see how, to get to know the way, the activity of the mind and how quickly it distracts us, how quickly it takes us out of the present moment. So I tell people, I pass on to people this breath awareness. But if they have difficulty in concentrating on the breath, just keep working with it. And then if they remain connected with me and want some more support, I have some tools that I can give them, but not in the beginning.
And why do you teach? Why? What is your passion?
Oh, I don't teach.
Or giving retreats. Why do you do this?
Because I'm invited, and because I can do this. It makes sense to me, and also. I believe that it is incredibly important for people to understand the importance of slowing down, of establishing the conditions that can help them to wake up, and to begin the process of understanding that the world we live in doesn't serve us. We're simply a part of the world we live in. We have a responsibility to be of service to the world we live in, not the other way around.
This brings me to also a question I had. Today in our society, what do you think is important so that people can be more peaceful?
Oh, give up the idea of peace. The idea of peace, I watch these. People are so convinced about their ideas of peace, that they'll fight against those who they see don't agree with them. That's not peace. I think it's important just to start, just simply. Make the bed as if you never slept in. Sit for 5 minutes. Stop taking intoxicants. Stop eating meat, fish, and poultry. Stop supporting institutions of killing. And sit every night. And be willing to slow down. Talk a little bit more softly. Talk a little bit more slowly. To do this, to really ground oneself in this. And then, just by grounding oneself in this simple practice, see what grows out of that. Because it will be different for each person.
And if you are new to any spiritual path, how do you know which one, where to go, how to start?
I don't know. Yes, I don't think there's a formula for that. I always encourage people to check out some places. Look. I didn't do any looking. These things just presented themselves to me. I just stayed with them. I wasn't a seeker in this way. I think it's important that once I see it, people will come into practice. They'll really commit themselves. They'll stay really strong until it gets a bit difficult for them. It's emotionally difficult, or there's always a place where they come up against themselves, and you can see it because then the food's not quite right, or it's too cold, or they don't want to work like this, or the recitations don't make any sense. There's always something outside which they use to project their discomfort onto. And so I just, I don't know what's right for someone.
So then there is a lot of misunderstanding also that meditation is just about peace and harmony.
Mm-hmm. Yes, there is. Now I will say, because people have too many ideas about what peace and harmony is. like, you and I can have a disagreement. We can have really opposite ideas. We can even have conflict around that. But that doesn't mean we're not in harmony. That we can have conflict, and that conflict doesn't degenerate into war, where I'm attempting to make you responsible for my discomfort. Harmony isn't what we call harmony. Harmony shows itself in different ways. Peace is an organic experience. It's never the same at any given time. I do know that you can't find peace at the point of a gun. You can't find peace. You can't find peace through overt acts of violence. It can't happen.
There's one more question.
Sure.
Can you tell me?
Only one?
Yeah, only one. How do you feel here in the Karunahaus?
How do I feel here? I feel. I mean, the place is quite beautiful, and but what's most important is not how I feel in the house; it's how I feel in relation with the people who take care for the house. That's what's important for me. And if I didn't feel good, if I didn't feel some trust, and if I didn't feel some connection to the people who are responsible for the house, I wouldn't have come. The house itself is really quite nice from a physical standpoint. The kitchen's beautiful. And it's in a nice location. I was only. I hope that if I'm invited back here, that I can also then bring more people here. That more people can come, that they can experience the place, because I think it's worth experiencing.
So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I think it's very inspiring to just listen to you and feel you.
It grows out of the connection with you and with Claudio, and it also grows out of the place here. So thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.